Hey guys, hope you're doing well. This is Kieran Klusker from the Fundamental Body Gym in Oak Tree Business Park in Trim. I want to share a few slides with you today that's going to get to the point of explaining what causes your unwanted weight gain and how you can reverse it. These two pictures that you're looking at right now pretty much sum up everything you need to know about why you gain weight that you don't want. To understand why, there's a whole host of reasons, right, that they all interlink together and play off each other to cause weight gain in a population. Okay, just 2/3 of the Irish population are overweight, and there's loads of reasons for it, but there's one specific reason that I want to talk about, and it's the way your brain is programmed. The way your brain is programmed is the main reason why you have unwanted weight gain. From an evolutionary standpoint, looking back, say, thousands of years ago, your brain has developed such and certain traits that are vital for the survival of the species. Okay, bear with me a second. I know this sounds pretty deep and full on straight away, but this will literally answer all the questions you have about weight gain and foods and why you can't control yourself. Okay, so let's set the scene again. Thousands of years ago, your brain has developed in a certain way so it can pass on its genes to the next generation. One of the ways it does this is by eating certain types of foods. Okay, so there's certain centers inside your brain that have developed to get a lot of pleasure, i.e. releasing the hormone dopamine when it eats kind of mainly sugary and fatty and salty foods, really highly palatable foods. If you're looking in the past generations, you would very rarely find these kind of foods. Okay, you might come across them the odd time when certain fruits were seasonal and you got to taste a really nice fruit, or you might come across a beehive full of honey. When that did happen, certain centers in your brain lit up and you got a lot of pleasure from eating these type of foods. Fast forward 300 odd generations later to today, your brain is no different than it was back then. Yes, we have larger brains and they're able to work things out and solve things better than they were before, but there is that tiny little center in your brain that is adapted and has evolved for survival. And one of the mechanisms it has evolved for survival is to seek and eat certain types of foods. And these certain types of foods are so highly dense in calories, they contain a lot of energy. That was great back then. Back then when there was no food, when we had to risk our lives for food, it was great to be able to come across certain types of sugary foods that we could just overconsume and have no off button. But now it's a bit of a hindrance. Now all these foods are a 2-minute drive down to the shop and you can consume as much of them as you want. And this is where weight gain stems from. Is the way your brain is hardwired to seek out certain types of food and overconsume it. But now we have a problem that these type of foods are too readily available and we cannot control ourselves. So because we still have a similar brain than we did back in the past, we're not able to give ourselves the proper signals to tell ourselves that we're full and to stop eating these types of foods. Okay, so there's a loss of signal here. The signals aren't working. The hormones, should I say, aren't working because they're not able to work. The junky, highly palatable foods override your body's ability to regulate your weight. Okay, so think about it. Say you went for a McDonald's and you got a a cheeseburger and a fries and a milkshake and a cookie. Those things didn't exist in the past. They're not even real food. So your body actually doesn't have the ability to tell yourself not to eat these foods. Your body has actually developed the ability to tell yourself to consume as much of these foods as possible. That's why it's so bloody hard. Your brain's reward system, okay, is hardwired to eat these foods. And it's so strong that it actually overrides your ability to monitor fullness and to reduce your hunger and your appetite for these. It gives you a massive hit of dopamine when you smell, taste, and even just think about these foods. One of the things that really hit home with me when I seen it, or when I heard about it, was a thing called the cafeteria diet model. Okay, see this big fat rat here, eating all the chocolate and all the cookies and he can't get enough of it? Yeah, well this is actually a real thing. Let me explain. Here's some evidence in our labs, like to back this up, okay? There's a model called the cafeteria diet model. And what this is basically a group of scientists got together and decided to test the idea of our brain reward systems and food, and just see how far rats were able to push themselves in order to eat these foods. What the scientists did was they put rats in a cage. On one side of the cage there was freely available whole foods, so things like vegetables and fruits and stuff like that. On the other side of the cage there was junky foods, highly palatable foods like chocolate. But there was one thing. There was a river or a stream of water that ran across and intercepted the highly palatable food from the rats. So they had to submerge themselves in cold water, which rats hate, by the way, and will do anything to avoid. They had to cross this just to get to the junkier food, or they could just walk over with no barriers, no complications, to the Whole Foods and eat the Whole Foods and have a free meal. And here's what the scientists find every single time. Rodents will choose to submerge themselves in cold water to get junk food, despite whole, nutrient-dense food being freely available right beside them. I just remember when I heard that for the first time, it was like a light bulb going off my head. Because the thing is, we are not any different. Okay? There is a complete breakdown in the communication between our stomach cells and our brain cells that get overridden when we can have the opportunity to seek out these junkier types of foods. And that's the cafeteria diet model. Once you understand this cafeteria diet model, you'll now understand a couple of things that go on inside your own head, which you might find that you beat yourself up for. The main one I can think of off the top of my head right now is, there's always room for dessert. Even when you are stuffed to the gills of food, you can still somehow manage to cram down a little bit of cheesecake and a bit of your partner's chocolate souffle. Okay, so here's the solution that we have at the Fundamental Body. We do a kind of a two-step process, depend on your knowledge level and skill level. And generally, most people will fall into one or two categories. They're either like a step 1 person or a step 2 person. If you're a step 1 person and you don't know enough about nutrition, well then the first step for you would be knowing the basics. What I mean in knowing the basics is understanding what exactly you should be eating to achieve your level of leanness. Okay, so if I brought you into a supermarket, say for example, pointed out 10 foods at random, would you be able to tell me what they mainly consist of? Like, are they a protein? Are they a healthy fat? Are they a smart carbohydrate? Are they a sugary carbohydrate? And this is one of the first things that we do with all beginners in our nutrition workshop. We get a certain amount of foods in front of them and we try to get them to understand and know by looking at the food what exactly it is. Okay, that's what I mean by knowing the basics. If you don't know the basics, you're not going to be able to implement it. which is the second type of person, or step 2. A second type of person is a type of person who knows exactly what to eat. They understand how much protein is important to their body. They understand how carbohydrates fits in with their energy levels, and they understand the importance of healthy fats. Okay, but the problem is, this doesn't mean you're going to have success, and doesn't mean that you're going to be lean. So there's something going on here. If you do know what you should and shouldn't be eating, but yet you can't implement it, well then you're a step 2 person. And this is where we get you to change one habit at a time. And we do this through our online nutrition coaching. So the first step is understanding the basics. This is step 1. And the real solution is with real food. So we've discussed in the past couple of minutes how much these unnatural, highly palatable foods are the result of you over-consuming them, which in turn lead to excessive weight gain. So the first thing that you need to know is that real food, i.e. food that comes straight from Mother Earth herself, straight into your gob, is the way forward. It doesn't really matter which diet you're following, whether it's paleo or Atkins or 5-2 or any of these things, right? A good diet will have the similar things in common. It'll be enough protein in it, there'll be healthy fats, there'll be carbohydrates to match your energy needs, and it'll be vitamin and nutrient dense coming from fruits and vegetables. Whatever way you want to call that, or whatever amount of meals you want to eat, it doesn't matter. Just make sure that you're eating real foods, because that's where the solution lies. And another really important point that we try to stress here at the Fundamental Body is understanding how diets really will mess you up. Right? And this comes into our basic knowledge level. Just really quick, homeostasis. You may remember or you may not remember from secondary school. Homeostasis is basically your body's ability to keep the same internal environment despite what happens outside. Okay, so your body has developed a mechanism that when something changes outside, you can stay the same inside. For example, when you get hot, your body sweats and cools you down. When you get too cold, it starts to shiver. You'll produce more heat and the hairs on your neck stand up. Okay, so this is your body needs to stay in a controlled environment. And it does this with basically every single bodily function, and that is for it to survive. And fat is no different. Fat levels on your body like to remain the same, and this is called the body fat set point theory. Your body does not like to go above or below its current state of body fat percentage. So what most people do when they want to lose weight is they will go on a diet. Besides not eating the right foods, what most people will do is they will drop their calories quite a bit in order to lose weight fast, because we are living in a fast and want results now type of culture. So when you do this, your body, remember, likes to stay in homeostasis, remaining the same. So it will do everything in its path to fight against you when you diet. Diets are essentially starvation. Starvation is not good, so your body will do everything possible to avoid that, to avoid you dying. So what happens is, when you diet, you will reduce your metabolic rate, i.e. your metabolism drops. You will get tired as crap, because your body does not want you moving around anymore and using up energy that it does not have to spare. You will increase your hunger hormones, because it needs to feed, so it drives these hormones through the roof. And remember what we explained at the start, you are already highly susceptible to eating junkier foods. If you combine this with a restrictive diet, you are just asking for disaster to strike. 2 weeks, 3 weeks down the line, wait for the weekend, all shackles are off, and you will go to town on your favourite foods. And you will just continue the cycle of blaming yourself for not having the willpower. You might try a different coach, you might buy a different meal plan online. It is all futile if you do not understand why you are failing. Stop dieting. Understand what real foods are, and you will have some chance of success. And once you understand the basics of nutrition and what you actually should and shouldn't be eating, well, then you're a step 2 person, which is just slow the hell down and take one step at a time. Okay, if you're always diving in on Monday morning trying to start and change everything at once, you start a new training program, you're quitting drinking, you're not eating junk food again, you're eating loads of vegetables, you're getting up at 5:30 to get your training in, and you're going to bed at 9 o'clock, right? This is too much stuff to take on. Again, it all gets linked back to the way your brain is programmed. You can't take on more than a couple of things at once. Your body will resist it. Just look at your own past experience and it'll tell you your answer. Have you got it right so far? Probably not if you're watching this. I was in the exact same category as this one here. I knew exactly what to eat. I knew everything about food and studied everything about nutrition, yet I still found it very difficult to keep myself consistent. And that's because I always tried to implement everything at once, thinking I found the best way to eat and the best diet and the best macronutrient ratio. It's all bullshit if you can't actually implement it. And the only way to implement it is through slowing down and doing one thing at a time. And I'm not going to get into loads about that right now, but that's what we do in our online nutrition program. It's built to tackle these issues and make you become more aware of why you're doing stuff and exactly what is going wrong in your head so that you can fix it and create a more long-term, balanced, healthy relationship with food. And I'd nearly go as far in saying that how you eat food is probably more important as the actual type of food you eat. Okay, so any of these meal plans or the best diet that you're looking for, supplements, talking about food timing, where you should eat food, in between training, after training, it's all great and it sounds scientific, but if you aren't able to create a positive relationship around food, you're going to just go into these streaks that you have, that I used to call them, good weeks, bad weeks, good weeks, bad weeks, time after time, and what you'll look like is this poor little dog here chasing its tail around in a circle, fighting with yourself in your own head. Okay, the reason I'm able to say it so clearly is because this is exactly the way I used to be. I knew it all, but yet couldn't really do it. And that's when you get upset with yourself and frustrated with yourself and annoyed with yourself. Maybe it's just my willpower. Maybe, all these silly things start crossing your mind. But it's actually not your fault. You just do not know how to implement these things in the way that they need to in order to keep a sustainable change. Right? The words that you don't want to hear, that I don't even want to say this in case it does put you off, but you need to slow the hell down. This stuff takes time. You have time on your hands. Okay, so who are we? Why are we different? Why is the fundamental body different than any other gym that you've ever been to or you've ever heard? Okay, and it's like a really difficult question when I ask it to myself. And the first thing that comes to my mind is nearly summed up in this picture that we just took last weekend. And it's probably because we just have a really, really strong sense of community, and the people in it are really like-minded. We're the most non-intimidating gym that gets pretty intimidating results. Okay, so we'll do everything in our path to get you to where you want to be. Without going too deep into the features of it, we customize your nutrition, we've online nutrition programs, we customize your training, we set your goals and match your training to them goals, give you a shit ton of support. You've access to as many classes as you want. You've access to me 24/7, your own nutrition and training coach on tap. And yeah, our main idea and goal of the fundamental body is It's like a tagline on our website is we want to aim to make the fundamental body the best part of your day, so that training is fun and enjoyable, and eating healthy and nutritious is second nature and is not something that you should be fighting with yourself. You shouldn't have bad relationship with your body and with food and with training. You should enjoy training. You should enjoy your food. You should enjoy your body and maintain peak physical and mental health for as long as possible. If anyone would like any more information on what we do regards to nutrition or regards to training, please just shoot me a message on Facebook or send me an email at kieran@thefundamentalbody.com, or give me a call, and I'll be more than happy to help you out in any way possible.